feeling the weight of the world? Remember, you are one, and one action can change everything. Welcome to the Be the One podcast with your host, Nancy Matthews, where we inspire you to make a big impact. One moment, one action, one person at a time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Be the One TV show podcast interview series where I get to introduce you some extraordinary people who are being the one for themselves, for their clients, for their communities, and the world. And today I have the privilege of introducing you to one of my favorite ones, Ms. Dotty Scott, who comes to us today from Vancouver, Washington. Right? So I'm in South Florida, she's in Vancouver, like we're polar opposites. And thanks to technology and all of the wonderful ways that we get to connect with people these days, we get to be together today. So hello, my dear friend Dottie.
Hey, Nancy, I'm so glad to be here today.
Yeah, I am glad you're here because I must say, my friend, I love talking with you. We have so much in common and we go off on tangents, and I suspect that might happen during the interview.
We're just a little bit too geeky sometimes.
I know the secret is out. I'm a geek and I love it. So let me share a little bit about Dottie. And Dottie is one of the authors featured in Volume 1 of Being the One, How to Lead Boldly and Live Your Vision. And that she does. Today, we're going to be talking with her about leading boldly, living your vision, and staying true to what's important to you and building your life on your terms. And Dottie, you've definitely done that. So share with our audience a little bit about, how you entered onto the path, the amazing path that you're on right now.
Well, Nancy, it was a long time ago, and I don't really think that I would recommend anybody actually start a business this way. But, I didn't know any better, so I just jumped in and did it. I wanted to work from home. I did not want to work for a network marketing company. Nothing against them, but I wanted to have more control of the business and not have somebody tell me what I can and can't do, which is one reason I really consider myself unemployable anymore because
We get to that point, don't we?
we do. It's like, I really don't need someone telling me what I can and can't do or when I can do it or any of those things. So I just basically picked something that I liked, and I taught myself how to do it via back then forums and
Mhm.
physical books of reading. And I figured out how to go get clients. I'd never marketed anything in my entire life,
Wow.
not a salesperson whatsoever. But I had to learn all of those skills as I went along. And I found people who were several steps ahead of me in whatever it was I was trying to learn. And I learned from them. And so I really put my feet to the fire and jumped in and just had no choice. I told myself there's no point in going back,
Mhm.
because anything that's terrible about being self-employed is still better than being employed.
Wow. That's really good. And I want to echo back to one of the things you said in terms of being unemployable. And I think the reason you're unemployable as well as I am is my thinking has changed into when I want more money, I think about how can I serve people and have them pay me for doing so.
That is very true. You don't think about going to somebody and asking for a raise.
or a paycheck.
Yeah,
And yes, you're serving your employer when you're working at a job, and if you're happy in your job, stay there, because she did say, I don't recommend you start a business the way I did. So let's keep that
100%.
let's keep that in mind. And so when I invited you to be part of the project, being the one, which is really about how do you show up and live your vision,
Hmm.
you and I have had many conversations. You're like, I build websites for people, right? And you
Yes,
do, but you do so much more than that. Like, what I see in you is you look for ways to help other people with the skill set that you have.
I really do. You know, I do say I build websites for people because that's physically what I do. But when you compare what I do to an average website designer, I really do so much more
Mhm.
because I'm trying to get not involved in their business, but I ask the questions that will help pull out things that will make their life easier, that will make, things in their business work better.
Mhm.
And it just, there's so much more than web design in what I do, but I've always had a problem with conveying that in like a concise sentence when someone asks what I do. Because I bring a lot more to the table than
Yeah.
just web
Yeah.
design.
If I was to be asked, what does Dottie do? What describe Dottie and what her business is. Her business is making sure that your online presence is properly conveying your brand positioning and your offerings, that it is properly attracting your ideal clients, and that it makes you feel proud to send people there.
Oh, definitely.
That's
Definitely.
what Dottie does. And oh, how do you do that? Is it SEO? Is it this? Is it that? It's yeah, and it's whatever you need.
Yeah. And it's even becoming, how can Dottie help you use AI to make your life easier?
I was going to go there next, so I'm so
Yes, and your
glad.
business processes and your systems and all of that stuff.
Yeah. So listen carefully, my friends, because when you're committed to being the one to serve others with whatever your skill set is, and it does, whether your skill set is, websites, digital marketing, whether it's writing, whether it's house cleaning, whether it's pets, whatever your skill set and your passion is around, there's an opportunity for you to use that to help somebody else who will happily pay you,
Yes,
right?
I
Right. And
100% agree.
yeah, and what I noticed that you do, and I think we've known each other almost 10 years now, I think.
Something close to that, yeah.
Yeah, it's really just about that, I believe. And what I noticed that you do is you keep learning and evolving as technology changes, as the resources we have available changes. So, which is why you're now into using AI, artificial intelligence, and showing people how to help it, because it can help them, because it can be overwhelming.
Oh, it can be so overwhelming. I go to conferences a couple times a year. I make sure that I'm involved with different groups that educate you on whatever it is that you're trying to be educated on. And for the last couple of years, it's been AI for me. So I'm trying to stay on the leading edge, but I'm also a filter because
Mm,
that's the one thing that people really get tripped up on. And that is they don't know where to learn or what to learn
yeah.
or what isn't important and what is important. And so I filter out a lot of the noise of what people just don't need to spend any time on. and bring to the table the things that will actually move them or their business forward. The other thing I'd really like to say about this whole AI thing, it's been a big pivot for me in my business. And I can see the writing on the wall to where website design isn't going to be something that maybe 5 years from now anybody's going to hire out. They're going to think they can do it themselves, even though
With all
Nancy,
these web design apps and so like they're there already.
they're
You
there already.
put
Um,
information in, they create a website,
but
but it's
Nancy,
not.
you and I both know it's not the technical creating the website. It's the experience behind what works and doesn't work and how to put things together, how to make things flow. It's all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can still see a time in the very near future where that's not really where I want to be spending my energy. And so, as a business owner, we need to be able to step back and
Mm.
evaluate what we're doing, what services we're offering, and see if there's a better way to serve than what we're doing now.
The story that's coming to mind. Who remembers Blockbuster Video?
I used to work there.
That
That was another age.
was another age, but look what happened. They
Hmm.
did not evolve, and Netflix took over.
Yes, they did.
There was that's why as business owners, we need to, like you said, keep, looking ahead in terms of our ideal demographic, our target market. What do they need? What's the new technology on the scenes? How are people consuming our products? So if you talk about websites and website
Mhm.
design, they have these apps now where you can get a templated website at the push of a button. You've still got to put a lot of information in, but
You really don't even have to put a lot of information in anymore, Nancy.
oh, well, okay.
Yes, you can put in your industry and it will take it from there.
Wow.
However, keep in mind, your site's going to be just like everybody else's.
Everybody else's, right? And is it going to have your unique, I would call it energetic blueprint, your language, your essence isn't going to come through. And maybe it doesn't matter if you're a plumber. I say it does, to tell you the truth.
I say it does too, but here's the truth and the reality.
Hmm.
I would say 98% of all websites I've built over the last 20 years, the business owner can't tell me what makes them unique. They can't tell me why someone's going to use their business over the other 100 that they
Yeah,
could call in my area. They don't know any of that stuff. And so I feel I am better serving those people by letting them use AI tools now or teaching them how to use AI tools that can help them bring that information out. So when
very
they
good.
go and use a tool like a website design tool, they
Yeah.
actually have valid information to put in there that will allow them to shine.
So I love the mentality and spirit that you're coming from, rather than seeing those tools as competition and
Mhm.
fighting up against it. You're like, well, how can I help people use those tools better?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And just so you know, everyone, so Dottie, I'll put all her information in the show notes, and you can go to her website, premiumwebsites.net. She's also got another website called askdottie.com.
I
And
do.
that's a phenomenal community to go and ask Dottie. And that's what I do. I'm like, hey, Dottie, how do we do this? Um, so good, and I love it. And you really have delved into AI. You're in the deep end of the pool, right? And you're swimming and you're gliding. So you're doing so good. It's great. And I'm grateful, um, to listen in on your shoulders sometimes.
I've got some super cool stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yay! I can't wait. I can't wait. Anyway, y'all want to make sure to follow Dottie, connect with her, stay in the loop because that filter she's talking about is essential. Because otherwise, you're just going to be spinning your wheels and wasting your time and wondering why you're not making as much money as you could be.
There's a lot of rabbit holes out there.
Yes, yes. I want to talk about the book again and your chapter contribution because um, you went in a different direction with the chapter in terms of sharing your story and also the free gift, the giveaway that you offered. Speak to that a little bit.
Um, you know, I didn't feel like people needed to hear why I became a website designer. It just, I mean, it didn't seem like that was really going to serve anybody anything. So
Mm-hmm.
you're right, I did go a different path. Um, so instead of writing about how I became a website designer, which let's all be honest, that's pretty boring. I really felt like there's a lot of people out there that are stuck in what they're doing. They're unhappy at their job or they're already self-employed, but they're not really happy with what they're doing or with the results that they're getting. So in the chapter, what I really cover is how you can find the courage to have faith that there's something better out there for you
Mm-hmm.
instead of just being stuck wherever you are. And it took me racking my brain on what to give for a free gift. You remember that, Nancy? I was
I
like,
do.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And there was one point where one evening I couldn't sleep, and I really think somebody above gave me this great idea. As you know, I love photography. I love camping. I love hiking, all those things. And I love taking gorgeous pictures.
And if you notice behind her, there's all kinds of photos behind her. Those are hers. And they're magnificent. So check her out on social media too, because sometimes she shares her gorgeous pictures with us.
I I do.
Yes.
But I've never really had a way that I was proud of to publish them. We'll just say that, publish them.
Hmm.
And I also wanted to give people something that would help them dig deep inside for
Mm,
themselves to help them try to figure out, if I'm not happy with my life right now, what can I do to change? What can I bring into my life to get me to where I want to go? And so I created a beautiful journal using my photography
yes, you did.
and various prompts that are just meant for that person to read and just journal about. See what comes up for them. And a lot of those prompts are around self-discovery,
Mhm.
courage, things that you can't answer real easily. None of them are yes and no kind of a thing, but they're meant for you to actually really kind of sit with that question and
Mhm.
really think about how it affects your life and journal about that so that you can be inspired, responsible for changing your life and getting you to where you want to be.
Which is absolutely beautiful. So you can get that in a variety of ways. And again, I'm going to put the link in the show notes. You can also get it by going to being-the-one.com and you'll see where you can opt in and get gifts from Dottie as well as our other authors. And I'll make sure that you can get in touch with Dottie because you want to stay connected to her because she's like ahead of where we're all going. So we want to make sure that we stay there and stay connected.
I'm at the
Awesome.
beginning of the train.
You are. I'm coming up in the caboose behind, or maybe somewhere in the middle. There we go. So Dottie, we're gonna do our lightning round, which is our opportunity for the audience to get to know you a little more personally on another level. So we got to know about how you got started, what your business is, how you continue to evolve to be of service to others. Now we're gonna get to know a few other things about Dottie Scott. And I'm gonna start with um what is one thing that you wouldn't want to live without?
I would not want to live without that inner voice that gives me
Mhm.
the guidance to keep moving forward. That little thing inside of us. I call it a soul. A lot of other people have other names for it. Um, but it is my North Pole. It is what
That,
makes me go in the right direction.
that is such a yummy answer. And I'll tell you, I've had times in my life when I couldn't hear it.
And you feel really lonely.
Yes. Yes. So part of the journal that you created and the practices that you live help you stay in touch with that voice, which
Oh,
is what,
totally.
yeah, which is how you are in this beautiful space of serving, evolving, next level, next level, next level. So it's good. I don't want to live without that either. That's a good one. All right, next up is who is the one person you would love to meet, dead or alive, and why?
I would say two, not one.
Okay, you can have
And we're
two.
gonna we're gonna stretch the dead or alive a little bit. I would love to meet the real Spock, not the actor. But if there's
Ah,
a Vulcan out there that has these amazing logical people on them on that planet, I would love to actually meet that. I know that's like in the future, way forward, but
maybe.
I really feel like we're not the only ones out here on
Yeah.
this big, beautiful planet. Well, we might be the only ones on this planet, but there's other ones out there. So, I would love that. And the other person is way back, and again, doesn't really exist. And that's Xena. I don't know if you ever watched Xena the Princess Warrior when you were a little kid.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And her friend, I think's name was Abby. Um, but she was in the world of like fantasy characters, one
Mhm.
of the only women. And she was
Right.
super strong, super powerful, and she led an army of men.
Mm, I love it.
I loved watching that show when I was a little kid. I couldn't
Oh,
even tell you the actress's name. I don't even know if she's around anymore. But that concept of a person I would love to meet.
I love it. That's so cool. All right, last lightning round question. What is your favorite food?
Hands down, spaghetti, but it's
Oh,
not something that you can buy at the store or go to some Italian restaurant and get. It's homemade, homemade spaghetti sauce. I can even taste it just thinking about it right
I
now.
can smell it. I
It's
think I'm having Italian food tonight.
it is something that I learned how to make from my mom. I've enhanced the recipe a little bit, but yeah, that it's my favorite thing to cook. It's my favorite
That's
thing to
beautiful.
eat, and fortunately, I have self-control and don't cook or eat it all the time, or otherwise I'd be, 100 pounds heavier.
Exactly, exactly. And I love when you shared, one of the reasons you love it, aside from the great taste and you like to cook it and share it, is memories that it
Mhm.
brings, right? Of
Yeah.
how you learned it. Beautiful. Well, Dottie, thank you for joining us today on Be the One TV. I am delighted to get to introduce you to all of the people that are watching out there. Make sure that you catch up with Dotty Scott and check out the show notes for where you can find her. And as we wrap up, any final word you want to share as for our listeners in terms of them being the one?
Take a chance and move forward. If you're stuck where you are right now, there's people out there that can help you. And I challenge you to grab onto somebody's hand, hold tight, and hang on for the ride.
Brilliant, brilliant advice. Thank you, Dottie. Thank you to all of our audience tuning in today. Be sure to check back for the next episode of Be the One TV. Get out there, be the one for yourself today. Be the one for your future self and challenge yourself to go ahead and do something you've been thinking about but weren't quite ready. Someone's there to serve you. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time on Be the One TV. Bye for now. Bye, Dottie.
Bye-bye.